I just want to follow up my video that I just did on the globalized plants, hybrids, and transplants. I just want to do a bit of a shout out to the world. I want to tell you about some of my great friends. I want to say that what a privilege it is in my life to have a close friend from South Korea who was an exchange student who stayed with my parents, and a pastor who was, though he was born here, grew up in the Central African Republic, and his wife, who's calls herself a French-speaking Vlaming, and a girl in our church from Congo that teaches the children. And what a privilege it is. We have on our Thursday night Bible study a couple from Turkey. She used to work for the Bible Society there. They're of Armenian background. And right at this moment, every Thursday, tonight, I do a Bible study with 3 Iranian people. And it's a great privilege, from out of the city of Shiraz. And I help do some cleaning at the mission headquarters regularly with a Japanese couple who are missionaries here. And so we get to see them. And it's a great privilege. And God has really filled our life with the world. I'm doing this Conquer Challenge, virtually walking the Camino. I've just passed walking somewhere around 610 or 20 kilometers in 50 days. And the people walking it with me, our good old friend from Australia is walking it, and a few people back in Michigan are walking it, and a transplant from Michigan out in Colorado is walking it, and a couple guys I know in Limburg are walking it with me, and obviously Lisa and I, who are transplants, are walking it, and a guy in the UK is walking it with us. And I'm probably missing out somebody, but it's a globalized walk, and that's one of the great things about the Camino, is the whole world is there. And it got me thinking about one of my favorite things, and that's when we go to the UK. We have not seen our kids or our grandkids in a long time, but when we go, I'm looking forward to a takeaway. It's pretty normal life in England to get a meal, have it delivered to your house. And one of the favorite meals that we might get delivered is a Chinese meal. And I'm looking forward to it. I am so grateful for the Chinese that come and make their wonderful food in our countries. I'm very thankful for that. And then I have to be careful what I take, but Indian food is amazing. Before I knew I was lactose intolerant, the ghee kind of got with me, but there are options, and I'm so thankful for all the Indians. And one of my best friends was born in India and is married to somebody who's really of Italian descent. What a great world it is that we can all come together. One of the ladies in our church is from Ecuador, and another has roots with Portuguese language and the islands background. And one of the people who is so encouraging and supports us is from Romania, has Romanian parents. And what a good world that we live in, to have friends and really family members from so many places, and to care about their countries, their families, their backgrounds. the time I spent in Sheffield, I met many people from Kurdistan. Some of the most lovely people I ever met in my life. Some of the most welcoming and caring. And people from Syria, and people from Turkey, and people from Iraq, and people from Iran, who really loved us, who really spent time with us, who gave heart and soul. And then some of my British friends with varying backgrounds, who opened their hearts and let us into their lives for the 13 years we were in England, and still reach out to us. What a blessing. What a great thing to be thankful for. It makes me think as well of the Mexican people, or the Tex-Mex background. I think how often if I visit my folks and we might participate in a Taco Tuesday or something, and the great joy that is to share in that meal, and to think of the fruits and vegetables that even now grow naturally in our country that started their life in another country. I was thinking about tulips. I believe tulips actually originally came from Turkey, and the Dutch have made it their national symbol, and they've done a lot with it. But I think, if I remember correctly, it's actually a Turkish thing, and we can be thankful that it's transplanted. And you probably see around me all over the place poppies. They are like one of the most prevalent weeds around us here. And growing up, poppies, we saw them all the time to remember veterans because of World War I and the Flanders Fields poem. And I think about how, even though it's not a real poppy, it's just a piece of paper and a bit of wire and some plastic probably, still a flower from here that spread over the war-torn fields and graves of Americans and Brits and Belgians and Frenchmen and Dutchmen and Germans, Austrians, that flower came to symbolize sacrifice and loyalty all the way in America. What an amazing thing that the flower from here becomes the flower with a symbol there. I suppose you're going to imagine that I have this perspective, being a missionary and all. But I just want to underline, it's not just an ideology, it's a life. It's a life of folding all peoples from all nations and all countries and languages into your friendship group. And trying to look at the world from their perspective, to try to know what's happening in their land, to care about them. When I went to Moody Bible Institute back in the 80s, I had a friend whose family was from Palestine. They were Palestinians who lost everything in the war. And it really gave me a different perspective. It really gave me a different perspective. I encourage you, listen to your brothers and sisters from around the world. Get a different perspective. Think of your context. I think of, he's now passed away, but Eko Pinardi, who was a missionary pilot for MAF in Indonesia. He came from Jakarta, and he was a good friend. Or Joshua Oweye from Nigeria. Or Lucas Sirafi from Ghana, West Africa. I think of my friend here in Belgium who's married to somebody from Gambia. You see, my Father's kingdom reigns over the whole globe, and it always has. It's interested in every single person from every single country. Nobody's excluded. Everybody's part of the picture. That's my God. I hope he's yours too.